Alright, so I've quickly got dressed for this one because this is the one where I have left my hair to be fairly dripping wet. So I've got a shirt on. And I'm going to be just towel drying my hair with a microfiber towel and doing the experiments from no product to putting product in again. Now, actually, I say microfiber towel, but I realized that I actually don't have one. So an alternative that I give people is to use a t-shirt. So I'm just using a t-shirt that's ready to be washed because it's just gonna get wet anyway. So a t-shirt works similarly to a microfiber towel because it's not as abrasive on the hair, and I don't think it absorbs as much water. So the key with using a microfiber towel, the reason I recommend it is because it's one, less abrasive, and two, it doesn't absorb as much water. And when the hair is wet, I have found that the curls tend to really clump up together more than if it's dry. So when it starts to dry or when it's towel dried too much, the hair kind of separates, the curls separate and go a little bit more fluffy, whereas heaps of water in the hair tends to clump it together more. So I know some people who don't even, towel dry it. We use a microfiber towel, but yeah, I don't really want to be waiting for my hair to dry from absolute dripping wet. So yeah, so I've just gotten out of the shower, wringed it out, like squished it out, sort of like this to get some of the water out. But yeah, it's fairly wet, and you can definitely hear a squelch when I scrunch it. Hear that? Squelchy. So to get that excess moisture out, what I'm gonna do is get my towel, my t-shirt, or your microfiber towel, and just lightly sort of give it a scrunch, just to get out all that excess moisture, like the too much water in the ends. But what I'm doing is I'm actually going in with the scrunch already, so then it's working with the curl shape. So there we go, just a couple of scrunches. That's it. You want to leave a lot of moisture in there. So yeah, I'm going back to where I usually start with my experiments and not use any product in it, just to see what using a microfiber towel alone does. And I'd like to compare this to the one that I just did where I only scrunched the hair, but I used a regular towel. So I preach a lot to use these microfiber towels because I guess I've seen it online, lots of hairdressers use it. I've always been told as a curly hairstylist that this is the way to go. So yeah, I'm actually curious to see the difference it does make. Because when I first started doing curls, I wasn't convinced that this was important. I remember telling people, like people would tell me, oh, I have to leave my hair soaking wet to style my curls. And I remember saying like, that's ridiculous. You don't have to do that because that's just gonna take ages for it to dry. And yeah, ever since then, I have experimented with it on my clients, and I did find that their hair would go curlier, or at least keep more of that like nice defined ringlet shape when I was styling it. So yeah, I'm curious to see how it lasts as well. Over the course of a few days, because I only ever see my clients, you know, when they're fresh, when they're in the salon. I see them day one, like the most perfect their hair is going to look. So of course they're impressed with how I've done it. But like I'm very curious what it kind of looks like a few days after as well. So yes, this is for the people who don't want to put anything in their hair. They don't want to use any product. This is what it's going to look like. Well, this is the comparison of the results when you're using a microfiber towel or a t-shirt. All right, so I've let my hair pretty much fully dry from just doing a scrunch with nothing in it, and this is with the microfiber towel slash, actually it's a t-shirt that I used. So dry it with a t-shirt, keeping a lot of the moisture in when scrunching the hair, and I can definitely notice a difference. Like, I would love to put the first video I ever put with nothing, no scrunching, you know, normal towel. Even just the one with the towel, let's compare it. So that's the front, this is the back. It's definitely got a lot more definition. It isn't 100% dry actually, but it's pretty much there, it's like 90%. But yeah, maybe I might do a little update with it later. But yeah, that's crazy. That's quite a difference. Interesting. All right, we're on to the next microfiber towel slash t-shirt dry experiment. This time I'm going to be scrunching, just lightly towel squeezing really wet hair with a microfiber towel, or in this case a t-shirt, and I'm going to put in some leave-in conditioner with this one. So again, like last time, really soaking wet hair. You can hear it squish. See how much water there is in that? So much water. So all I'm going to do to get rid of the excess water is just lightly squeeze it with my t-shirt. So this is all in the name of not drying out the hair too much before you scrunch it. You're still leaving a lot of water in, and the water helps the curls to clump together more, which gives more of a defined curl rather than it being all split apart. So I'm going to continue to use my fingers to comb the hair out into place. I still don't have a spray bottle to keep my hair really wet, but I'm going to get one soon, as well as some actual microfiber towels. Alright, so we've combed it out, and now I'm gonna give it a scrunch. You can hear that squelch. Just a little pre-scrunch before I put my product in. Okay, and then putting this product in about 4 pumps. Just gonna lightly rake that through. Right, and then scrunching. I don't know if you can hear the squelch. That's what it should sound like when it's wet enough. I'm going to put a little bit more in for the top, just right in the roots. So you can still you can still hear the squelch. I think you can hear that. Okay, and I'm gonna put it back into place. So no twisting, just getting in there with a good old scrunch. And then all of these I've air dried, by the way. I'm not using a diffuser. The diffusing experiments are gonna come after all these sort of methods that don't use a diffuser first. Because, I mean, I mostly dry my hair naturally anyway. I try not to use too much heat on it, but there are definitely benefits to using heat. I mean, the diffuser, not heat. Alright, I always get tempted to twist the front because the front just does like these little skew things, but I will leave it. Okay, so now I'm just gonna let that dry and I'll be back when it's dry. Here's my hair now that it's dry. So I'm trying to get good light and not crap in the background. There is my hair with the microfiber towel and just a bit of leave-in conditioner. It's actually dried really nicely. I wonder if I can get my hair in the sun. I don't know. But yeah, that's what it looks like. It's pretty well defined, to be honest. I like that. I think the water really makes a difference compared to drying it with a regular towel. We're on day 3 of my hair after using a microfiber towel and only curl cream. So I'm gonna brush my hair out again after this because I kind of want to go out today, but I also don't want to go out with it looking like this. As you can see, like the whole top layer has gone fairly like fly-away-y. And the back feels quite knotty. Yes, I don't know. This is what it looks like. I think when it originally dried, one side really bounced up more than the other, and it kind of just stayed that way. So I don't know if I put more product in on that side or what happened there, but this the back, this the front. Taking a picture, so I'm gonna do the trusty old brush out again. Yeah, we're gonna disregard the oil treatments for a little bit. I'm not working at the moment. I quit my job, and I don't know, living in the UK is just proving to be a lot more expensive than I thought, and so I just can't be spending money on scalp oil when I need money to, I don't know, survive, you know. So I've been thinking about it, and I think that what I'm going to do is just DIY my own stuff. I don't know what I got at home at the moment. I've still got like a little bit of the Golab hair gloss. See, that's probably about that much. So that's probably like maybe pushing a full head, one more full head through the like ends of my hair. It could be half a head, but yeah, I might just mix that in with some good old olive oil. It's not the best, but it is still just an oil, I guess, to put through the hair. Damn, my hair's knotty. So as you can see, I'm just kind of really lightly brushing it through. We don't want to be like scraping through the knots because that's just not good for the hair. So gently does it. Yeah, one thing, I don't know if I said this in my last video or in one of the last experiments, but one thing I have noticed is that the itching of my scalp is reducing. So I am getting the feeling that my own homemade scalp oil was definitely the thing that was irritating it. Again, in one of my videos I've said this already, but I will repeat myself, and that is, I have read that rosemary oil, if there's too much, is gonna just irritate the scalp. And when I first used the scalp oil, which was from GoLab, but it was one that was made by someone whose job it is to make it. You know, that is what they do, that's what they sell. It didn't irritate my scalp. And so I do see the value in buying a professional scalp oil, because the people formulating that stuff are obviously, they've got the ratios down pat. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible to come up with your own ratios, but you're gonna have a lot of itchy scalps before you figure out what ratio is actually not irritating. And I put a small amount of the rosemary oil essence in there. Like, it was mostly avocado oil and a bit of castor oil. Could have been the castor oil as well, maybe I put too much of that in, but I haven't heard castor oil to be an irritant. If anything, it is anti-inflammatory. So it was most likely the rosemary oil that I was putting in there. Yeah, I don't know, that's what I have to say about that. So I think that I'm just gonna go with the good old olive oil, which is probably too heavy for my hair, but I will use it sparingly, we'll see. And I'm just gonna sort of treat like mostly the mid lengths and ends, and I might just kind of like brush it through up to the roots and give my head the scalp massage. I did see a scalp massager in Tesco the other day for like £3, which is super cheap. But that is how much I'm wanting to save my money at the moment. I was sort of like, I still have my hands. I don't need a scalp massager. Even if it's cheap, who knows? Maybe that £3 is gonna buy me my last meal one day when I officially am not earning any money. I should have a job by the end of this week. I've done a couple of trials at some salons, but we don't know. Anyway, I'm just using, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and use a few drops of this because I'm gonna wanna oil my hair later anyway. But just so I can go out and not look like a complete puffball, just gonna run a few drops. I think in my last experiment I brushed my hair out, but I used the cream to settle my hair down. So, and I was saying that I do prefer oil, probably not an oil this heavy, more so a serum or a soft argan oil or something. But you know, I think my hair can take a few drops of this. Yeah. Yeah, you can kind of see the difference, hey, between, okay, so brushed out, this is what people mean by you can't just be brushing out your curls. It's fluffy. But when you, I'm gonna sneeze. Okay. Collect my thoughts after that. With oil it looks much nicer, see? So I'm not completely against the brushing, to be honest. It looks kind of nice. So see, look, this is literally like, I'm gonna do 4 drops. I'm gonna do 4 drops. Just prayer hands it through. transit a little bit more through the top there. Just gonna rake that. You know what? I'm going against everything I say. I don't know if I just constantly contradict myself in these videos and my advice, but that's the point of these experiments, right? It's just like actually seeing if I practice what I preach and also what actually works. I don't want to be out here being like, don't rake your fingers through, but then I'm here raking my fingers through and I'm like, oh, that actually works better than just doing the prayer hands. Because like in this area where it's like, you know, a little bit fluffy fluff. One more little drop there. Yeah, maybe the raking does help like separate that fluffy a little bit and makes it more, I don't know, curly or something. That looks kind of alright. Got one like semi-straight bit just chilling in the middle there. Yes! Okay, so now I think I can actually like exit the house now without looking like I have never brushed my hair in my life. Okay, my hair has been washed after I did an oil treatment this time, except I used like mostly olive oil because I was running out of my lab end treatment. So I'm on the last experiment of the microfiber towel week. So as you can see, it left my hair all nice and wet. This time I'm actually going to use the microfiber towel to begin with to get that dampness out. Yeah, so again, this isn't like it isn't the type of microfiber towel that I'd usually use. It's actually a disposable towel that I'm not disposing of. I'm just reusing it. Okay, so we are on to putting some curl cream with, oh, fuck's sake, with the leave-in treatment. Oh, you know what? I put my leave-in treatment in another room. Oh, okay, I'll be back. Okay, so I'm gonna rake my hands through to brush out the hair. Can't wait till I use a brush in these. I don't know, maybe I'll get used to using my fingers instead of using a brush. But for now, just using my fingers like I don't have a brush. Keeping that hair nice and wet. Okay, so I'm going to put in a few pumps of my leave-in treatment first. Got 4 pumps of that. Just gonna rake that through as I usually do, mid-lengths to ends, all the way up to the top. So I'm gonna put a little bit in on this side. And get some of those remnants out first. A little bit on this side. Maybe I might just do 1 more pump of that. Okay, here for that squish, the squelch. Oh yeah, it's a good squelch. And this isn't even as wet as you can go. I think when I start really getting into the curly girl guide, they tend to really keep their hair like super wet, like they're spraying it down. And I do that with some curl types. When it's like very coily hair. Again, I'm not super familiar with the whole numbering system, like 3B or whatever, but I know that like maybe it's the 4s of like super curly, coily. I think it's those types of hair that I would be spraying it. I don't think it's really necessary to have it that wet with hair that's curly like mine. Okay, and then some curl cream. Putting about that much. Am I raking and then scrunching it in? Maybe I'm doing that. Rake it through. Let's get it nice and even. So this is, I think I should probably show like raking it through like upside down too, because this is something that I'm always telling people, like if you've got longer hair, it's just easier to rake it through when you've got your head upside down like this, only because you can get like all underneath and like the top and the sides, like you can get it really evenly distributed. Then give it a nice scrunch. So you can hear that squelching. Nice and wet. I liked just the curl cream on its own, but I think I don't know, it almost just felt sticky. Like I definitely felt like I could put more of it in there when the hair was really wet, which definitely gave it more definition. But also, even just a few days later, I felt like the hair wasn't as nice and like soft looking. It sort of looked, when it got knotty, the knotties were stuck in place. You know what I mean? Whereas when I've had little to no product in, or just a cream, like a leave-in treatment sort of thing, I feel like even when the hair's knotty, it feels, or it looks cleaner and softer. That's only one thing I've noticed that I don't like about the curl cream. But then I want to kind of compare the difference here. What do I want to do? Oh no, I think I'm harnessing traits from my mum that I don't like. She just stops sentences midway through and kind of gets distracted. And I always got annoyed by that when I was a kid, and now here I am and I do it. I do it. I do it as well. Okay, so just scrunching, let it dry. See if this hair feels softer with cream and curl product rather than just the curl product on its own after a few days. I'm still so resisting the urge to twist some of these curls. I can't wait till I'm at that stage of experiments where I show the twisting. I've never fully twisted my hair, like I've just done like a few little bits, but I just can't wait to do that. This is the scrunching experiments, and yeah, here we are, just keeping the hair quite wet after coming out of the shower and just using a microfiber towel. So, cream, treatment, gonna let it dry, and I'll come back when it's dry, and then again in a few days' time. Okay, I think that this is the best that my hair has looked so far, with the curl cream and the leave-in treatment and a microfiber towel. Okay, I was just about to brush my hair out for work, but I thought that I would quickly show what day 3 looks like with microfiber towel, curl cream, and a leave-in treatment. So this is where we are at day 3. Just felt like it's gotten a little bit knotty. So I'm gonna give it like a little brush out and a condition, just make it a little bit softer. But yeah, this is what it's looking like from the front. Actually, I'll show you what the back looks like as well. There we are. Yeah, actually looks less bad on camera, but it doesn't feel great. I don't know, I just feel like giving it a brush out. So yeah.